What's up, YouTube? This is Washable Platypi here with my good friend Gabe, aka xSkyking, and we're gonna be doing a interview. And the questions are right up above, right next to Gabe. We're gonna kind of go through them together, but I kind of wanted to just do this because if you don't know who Skyking is, you probably should. One of the biggest content creators in terms of like streaming, and he holds tournaments. This is also live right on Twitch, so. Uh, Make sure to follow twitch.tv/washableplatypi. I'll also put all of Gabe's links in the description as well for his YouTube and his stream as well. Um, is Sky King a Coomer? What the heck? But anyways, we're gonna start it off kind of a very bland first topic, but if you had to pick like your favorite thing about E7, whether it's gameplay, characters, like just what in the very broad statement, like what is your favorite thing about Epic 7?
Favorite thing about Epic 7? I don't want to be, generic or anything, but to be honest, it is the animations.
Oh, dude,
Um,
play the like the playable animation.
yeah, aside from that, it's obviously the personality on all the characters. Yeah, each character has a lot of personality usually.
Yeah,
Um,
Aether has a lot of personality. A
true.
lot of hidden personality. Uh
But yeah, like I don't know. I think that's what got me into the game. Not to mention, um, the gameplay itself. I kind of really like. I guess I kind of like this style of uh, this game where it's like you build up characters, you go through dungeons. One, there's a bit of PvP, but with RTA now that came out, right, then there's a lot more focus on PvP. So
okay,
it's
yeah.
nice.
And you were a Summoner's War player before E7, correct? Or well,
Yeah.
kind of a Summoner's War player.
I mean yeah, yeah, it's a long story, but
Yeah. Uh
it's
so
sore point. Screw that game. Um,
So going back to then like your favorite thing, I guess this is kind of what your least favorite thing is, but if you could change anything about the game, um, what would you change? So like looking into like either a unit or like something just within the game, like more PvE content, more PvP content, less PvP
i-
content, stuff like
if
that.
I could change something, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'd want to get rid of I-90 gear, but
Oh, really?
But I wasn't a big
That's
fan of it.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. Like, um, I feel like the I-90 gear kind of really it definitely changed things a lot. Um, but at the same time, it added a lot. Like, yeah, I didn't really like the I-90 thing. Unfortunately, like, I mean, it's here already, so it doesn't matter too much for me. But I
It
think the biggest thing
definitely added like a
is,
big pay to win aspect, I think, or it
yeah,
made it feel more pay to win.
well, it's more of like it's more of like everyone farmed for so long for something,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Smallgate, they dropped something like I-90s, so that means, oh hey, look, everything you farm now, you know, great, but look, you have to farm more now to upgrade it, otherwise you're gonna fall behind. So it's like, well, now I have to, everyone was stabilized, and then you know they decide like, oh, everyone unstabilize and start going all over again. Like, I think that's the thing that I personally didn't like the most. But
Yeah, you're the first person to actually say like that I've talked to that has mentioned that they don't like I-90 or that they would change I-90.
yeah, I mean, like, the fact that it's here now, great. Like, sure, whatever. Like, we've already gotten past that point, is whatever. But you know, if we could go back, in retrospect or whatever, right? That's probably one of the things I wish I wouldn't be there, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um,
I see a lot of comments here about the no nerf meta, with like units and stuff.
that's true. Like, that's also something else, which is like, unfortunately, I feel like that comes more of at a fault of the community itself, to be honest, though.
Mm-hmm.
Not specifically, like, um, the Twitch community, but more so like the stove, Reddit, Korean meta people, like,
Yeah.
uh, like Small Gate, it seemed like they were down to nerf in the past, and then they nerfed, and then there was a riot, and then now they're scared to nerf. Is essentially what I feel like happened. Like I feel like they were still open to like nerfs and stuff like that, but then now they're very hesitant about that because of what happened in the past. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can kind of agree with that. And I think uh, the problem for me, and I think with E7, is like the unit pool is not very diverse if you think about it. So like
yeah,
when you nerf something, it's pretty detrimental to a lot of people because like there's not a lot of units, and the
mm-mm.
infrequencies of unit buffs and obviously we'd love to say unit nerfs, but you mostly unit like the bounce pass changes where they buff units. It does come frequently enough, so it just feels really stagnant a good majority of the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think, yeah, I, I think I would like to see nerfs, but I can't say I expect to see any. Um, if I see any, I'll be happy. I'll be like, great, you know. But unfortunately, like right now, their mindset doesn't seem to be for that. They seem to be like, oh, well, in this case, um, we'll just bring out something to counter this instead of nerfing it, or we're going to, bring in a new mechanic that's going to take care of this. And instead of rather like, if something's way overpowered, instead of like balancing that or whatnot, right? Like every time they have a balance patch, it's just different units getting buffed to deal with other stuff trying to.
mhm. And I
So,
think a big change for that is like if you go back to when Spez was buffed, right? Like
hmm,
they gave him extinction, right?
yeah,
Like, and that was to kind of deal with Arbiter Vilder. And now you're seeing a lot of these new units that they're releasing with
yeah,
like extinction. So like with Emma Lulika or like with Landy, not her skill 3 being uncounterable and stuff like that. They're adding things that they probably wouldn't have added before just to kind of help deal with these like problem units, I would say.
hmm. I think one of the things though is like, I don't think that's necessarily bad adding a new like extinction was a great mechanic
Oh
to
yeah.
add in, right?
Hmm.
That kind of stuff. But like, yeah, I feel like adding more units for that stuff is great, but certain ways and methods they go about dealing that is feels a little strange, I guess. Like like the can't counter, right? The unable to counter thing is starting. It neuters certain units, certain mechanics, kind of kills off certain units instead, and then probably eventually those units will get buffed, and then they'll be overpowered and
Hmm.
whatnot. Someone will have to.
And I think it's like, and we're gonna talk about this in a later portion too, because I have my thoughts on this. But and I think with the release of Last Strider Crow, right?
Yeah.
I think the community was pretty vocal about their dislike for this Ruel and Friends and like 4 Knight Horseman meta, and they kind
Hmm.
of thought like AoE true damage would be a good fix to that. And then they made him a knight,
Yeah.
and Uh, we'll talk about this later. So actually, this brings us to the next segment or portion. What are your thoughts right now, currently for the RTA meta? I don't know how
The
often
RT
you've been playing RTA, but
I just recently started. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really into it yet because like I I still need to finish Abyss to try to get Flitica. So
oh,
my gear's been still kind of all over the place. But I'll be honest, like thoughts on current RTA meta. Like whenever I play a little bit, like I do see a lot of Last Rider Crow, and the meta is very usually it's very shifted towards just people running a bunch of knights. They bunker up, and then if they can, right, certain units will help them do a little bit damage. Uh, Even worse than the first season, I feel like.
mm-hmm.
Possibly even worse than the first season for some reason. Like, I feel like it's very hard to use some certain units now compared to the first season, and it's even more. It's even more of a night meta. It feels like for some reason. I guess along with like the resale of like ML Cow and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think right near the end of like season 1 RTA when it was super ramping up, that's kind of when we saw this 4 horseman meta,
Yeah.
and ever since then, it's kind of just stuck. It's a tried and true draft that is really hard to break through, and like with the addition of like these knights like Emerald Crow, I think it just adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
oh, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
No, I think one of the things is like it's hard though. I've talked about this a little bit, but I feel like it's hard to unfortunately change the meta because of just how stats itself work. It's
Mm-hmm.
so much easier to gear up knights, and with how their skill set is, it's so much more difficult to gear up, speed units, damage units, squishier units like that, rather than dealing, like if it's like knights, it's just you can gear those up so easily, or even with like subpar gear, they'll still work fine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not as best as people with godlike gear, but it
Yeah.
works. So everyone tends to, you know, drift towards that.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it comes down to is like every knight has like HP scaling damage
Yeah,
on their abilities, and take
yeah,
that
and some of
away,
them
and I think it's fine. Honestly.
like I think one of the things is like, I mean, it's not bad. If anything, like because they do need a little bit of damage,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Just maybe the scaling's too high or something, but like the way it is, right? If you slap on some HP or something, right, they'll do some damage and they're tanky. It's hard to kill them. There's mitigation artifacts and all of that. So it's just all of that come like put together. It makes it hard to kill a unit. And then when you have multiples of those units, it's hard to kill all of them, and they're all just gonna do damage. You add in a bit of sustain. It's frustrating for you to do enough damage, along with how some of the knights have so much utility.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing. Like they have utility, right? All the strongest knights, provokes, lockdowns, skill nullifiers,
Mm-hmm.
cleansing ability, like all that stuff. So like it's that plus the utility and everything that makes them so much more annoying to deal with. I feel like unless they come out with units that are really strong in like the squishy department where they can do damage, but it it goes both ways. Like eventually, it might lean too far to one side, and we're gonna see something like another Arbiter Vildred when he first got buffed kind of moment.
Ooh.
And I don't know if I want to see that either, but people will complain about that if that comes out, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
that, it's hard to find a balance, unfortunately.
Now, let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, looking at the entirety of units in Epic
Mhm.
7. If there's one buff that you could give a unit to make them more relevant, or to like uh, maybe just make them a little bit stronger, which unit would you want to buff and why? Or which unit would you like to see buffed?
I, I I think there's two actually.
Yeah, you can say both.
May Chloe is definitely one of them. I feel like
Ooh,
May
that's a
Chloe.
good one.
I think May Chloe has been kind of neutered. Like you can still use her, but she was neutered in some sense where like uh, she's a lot harder to use slash pick unless it's like you're drafting specifically or something. And then yeah, the other one's ML Leo actually. I actually really want like because ML Leo is the one unit with like like a bomb effect right now. Like
Hmm.
I want to see them like make use of that.
I do think with the what is it, bomb model Cana or whatever, we
Mhm.
might see more bomb mechanics.
Might be
So
cool. It's just like I mean, Emmylou was the first unit that came out with that, and like it was like severely underwhelming,
oh,
like
it's
what it did.
it's so
Even
bad.
with the buff,
He
he's
is really bad.
yeah.
Uh, it's no Ciara,
So
that's for sure.
yeah, I don't want them. I don't know if I want them or how far I want them to buff it though, because like
Hmm.
I think one like if they could make use of that, and like great, right? Then like it'd be cool if he'll do something to let's say like the night meta or something. But then at
Yeah,
the same time, like would that be too strong then? At that point, if he could do something to the night meta, right? Like
yeah. Make bombs ignore 100% defense.
yikes. I don't know about that one there because at that point I'm scared Emilio will just end up being like a like a one shot cleaver.
Yeah,
So
Alats into MLEO.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know. Like that's why I say it's always unfortunately with the way the game is. I feel like it's really hard for it to go both like to have a fine like middle ground now because if you lean too far one way, it'll be like speed monkeys cleave.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not fast enough, you're straight up gonna get destroyed, kind of thing. And then, but if you lean too far the other way, then now, yeah, we're back into the like bunker up, everyone bunker up, super tank meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was in like the beginning, right? In the beginning of before RTA came out, Arena was, cleave everything. When RTA first came out, people were still cleaving a little bit, because that was still the way to go, right? Not many people started bunkering up yet. Not many people used as many knights yet because it was just
Mm-hmm.
normal arena. But once people started transitioning to knights, it's like, oh, since we're not fast enough, let's tank them out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
more and more people will start running knights, and that like it was a really good way to like get past cleaving, um, for most people, right? The only people who could cleave them were certain people with good enough gear,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had to be fast enough. You had to have fast and really strong damage gear plus the right units.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes like a lot of like different things required. But
Yeah, and I think
yeah,
initially what they wanted was like kind of a triangle meta where like cleave would beat bruisers, bruisers would beat knights, and knights would beat cleave.
hmm.
And it's gotten to the point now where knights beat bruisers and cleave. Bruisers
Yeah,
still lose to cleave, and cleave still beats bruisers.
yeah.
So maybe like in the department of like buffing maybe like the bruiser meta, so it still loses to cleave, but it has a better like option to like face into knights.
I think that's what they're trying to get with ML Crowd, but then it ended up backfiring.
Yeah,
Like,
it
sure, it was great for
super backfired.
like it was great for knights, against like ML Crowd could still do pretty well against like
Yeah,
tankier teams, but at the same time, it also does extremely well against squishy teams now.
yeah. I think if they
And
made him a
so,
warrior, granted, most of the time you see him on portrait, so it doesn't super matter.
yeah, I don't think it matters because Artifact wouldn't have changed.
Yeah,
I, it's kind of hard. I don't know what. I'm not too sure. I haven't thought too much about what they could have done about that. I don't know. I don't know if like ML Leo or May Chloe being buffed would help either. Like
yeah,
May Chloe being buffed would just be more of like like things to help with ML.
yeah. Take away the immunity, yeah. The immunity,
Yeah, the immunity helps him like survive against um control teams, but then there's a bunch of issues there also. Like it's like you know, um, I guess they also wanted to sort of pseudo deal with like control or something, like because like
I feel like it was just a direct counter to Emil Tywin.
maybe, yeah,
Emil
it does
Tywin's
kind
like debuffs as well as the fact that he's a knight, like
yeah, that's true too.
which
Yeah,
which
I don't know if like sorry, go for it.
no, you can go. You can go.
Mm, I think I don't know if like May Chloe would actually help too much, but because like if they buff May Chloe, I'm actually kind of worried that might enable it'll help the tank meta even more,
Yeah. But
possibly.
how would they
Like
buff how would they buff made Chloe is the thing.
uh,
Attack and defense buff?
I talked about this on Kaz's podcast too, but it's like I'm not sure how to buff her because the one thing is I feel like more of anything they have to change her like revive buff because the
Yeah.
revive buff is kind of like what's getting countered a lot nowadays. Like maybe one that's unstrippable, maybe sure. Like that might be really good because like that's the weakest part, right? Either she gets stripped or she gets countered by like let's say like ML haste.
I think Emil Haste was the biggest like death to a unit like made Chloe.
Yeah.
Because now he gets 4 AoE or not AoE like AoE heals, true damage kill threes, and then immunity and a fat shield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how. I'm not too sure how they could buff her aside from changing her actual skill. Because then if they buff the revive buff, then they're indirectly buffing a lot of other units possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, I guess it's not that bad if they indirectly buff like Rowan. Like who else has a revive buff right now?
I think it's just Rowana and made Chloe. Yeah,
Mm,
maybe another one. I don't think so
I
though.
actually don't remember. Uh, Rowan make Chloe Misty Chain has.
Misty Chain has a revive buff.
Okay, that doesn't matter too much then, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it might not be that bad to indirectly buff Rowana. I guess
I
like
mean, the
Rowanna's.
revive buff is not why you pick Rwanda.
Yeah,
So like, it's just kind of there.
yeah. I think it's. I think it's. I think that might actually be doable. But we'll have
What
to
if
see.
the
Like,
revive buff like revived them at full HP, kind of like what Ruel does? Would that be too strong?
I'm a little worried that might be too strong. I actually thought about that. I was like, maybe I do that, right? Because like right now, like they revive with too little HP.
Hmm.
But then if that you pair that up with knights, then mm,
Yeah.
yikes. Then that's pretty. I don't know. I'm a little worried about that part then.
Yeah, that one doesn't seem as good or as fun.
Mm,
I
yeah.
guess moving on to the next question. We kind of been talking about the buffs, but if there is a unit or units that you would want to nerf, what would those units be?
Unit. I
Or
mean,
unit or units?
to be fair, I feel like hmm,
I have my list.
it's definitely more than one.
Yeah.
Like I definitely would be down for Emerald Crown nerf. Um, I don't know if I want to say Falcon or Clury. I'm a little hesitant about Falcon or Clury. I think she is really strong, but at the same time, I feel like she's also one of the more accessible units for free to play people.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So I don't know
Yeah.
if I necessarily want them to nerf a unit that's available for free to plays. Um,
I do think it's something to think about though, because
yeah, maybe
Falconer
something
Clear
to
isn't.
consider.
Yeah, she's
Because
still
I mean,
really
even though she
strong.
got nerfed in the past,
I
right?
mean, she's one of the strongest knights right now. Like, you very seldom do you find a RTA match now in like High Champ Legend where it's like no ML Crow, no Falconer Clary, like
Mm-hmm.
no Fallen Cecilia. It's just very seldom do you see those.
Yeah, I yeah, I don't know if I want them to nerf. Uh, I kind of also want to say Fallen Cecilia, actually, surprisingly, but then like
I feel like
I'm
if
just
you nerf Fallen Cecilia though, Cleave is just
yeah, that's the one
it.
thing I'm afraid about.
It
Like,
buffs Cleave in Arena more than anything.
but like I'm also not sure of how they could like nerf Fallen. It's funny because like Fallen Cecilia's kit, I don't think actually is like that crazy compared to other knights, but
No,
she's just really effective because of her stats and what's available.
yeah, I've said this
Yeah, like I feel
before.
like she's balanced, but at the same like she's balanced, but at the same time she's such a strong, overwhelming unit just because of what she has in her kit available.
Mm-hmm.
That makes her a really like you'll see Fallen Cecilia picked like so often right now. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. And the problem is I think with Fallen Cecilia is like she can fit into any draft. You can slow cleave with her. You can draft her with your like Flitica like CDOM cleave.
Hmm.
Just because of her multipliers on her skill 3 with her HP percent is actually they're pretty insane. So if you have
Hmm.
like some crit chance and some crit damage on her, she deals a good amount of damage.
Hmm.
But I think overall as a unit, I've said this before, on like other streams, is like I think Fallen Cecilia is actually the most balanced ML5 unit they've ever released, and
Hmm.
I remain to believe that like she is like a pretty balanced unit. But like you said, like it's hard to say that when she's like 100% picked band. You see her all around in like arena defense, stuff like that, guild war defense.
Yeah.
She's just seen everywhere, which makes it seem like not balanced. But I think she's a necessary evil because without her,
Yeah.
like we see maybe like without her, like we see the drop in night meta. But I feel like then, like you
That's
said,
a fair
cleave is
point.
too strong.
Yeah. No, that is a fair point. Like that's why I was a little hesitant on but hesitant about her. It's just I feel like it's kind of difficult because of the fact that like she's strong in her own right with paired with different stuff. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit hard to judge there in that aspect.
I kind of agree with what Timos just said too. Being the best in what you do does not mean you're broken or overpowered.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think probably top of my list right now probably might be Emerald Crow. I I also don't like. Hmm. I like love and hate Falconer Clary, so I'm still on the fence about her.
Yeah, I get
I'm
it from like a standpoint of like you want the accessibility to these like not I'm gonna say OP like these OP units that like anyone can have. Um, but at a certain point, like I feel like if you look at the statistics, right, of like how frequently a unit is used, that should give you a good reading on like
hmm
if they need to be looked at. I think they should kind of take the approach, and I'm gonna like refer to a game that's like nothing uh like E7, but like a game like League, right? They're constantly like looking at statistics of like
hmm
which champions are being used, which ones are not being used,
Yeah,
the win
that's
rates of champions, stuff like that. So like Shogun's tournament that I was in, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure Emil Crow was like 100% pick banned throughout the entire tournament.
yeah.
I
And
think that's a problem.
I think one of the things though here is, which is good. It seems like talking with the CMs, it seems like they're keeping track of a lot more of the tournament stats now,
That's good. That's actually really
and
good.
I'm hoping they use that to, like, oh, these units overall are used a lot, so maybe we'll nerf these ones. Well, nerf is
I don't.
is a word I use lightly.
Yeah,
Maybe instead of nerfing, they might just buff other units to counteract all of these ones. But
I hate that so much. It's just so much power creep. There's so much
yeah,
power creep.
so I'm not sure what they're gonna do about that, to be honest. Like, yeah, how would they buff somebody to counter ML Crow? Maybe buff people so there's more things like
Give them a higher
Basar.
HP pool. I don't know. I
And next thing you
think.
know, there's gonna be like, another unit like Basar, but strip unbuffable, unhealable. I
Yeah,
don't know.
please no.
Like, I don't. That's what I'm scared about, right? It's like it's the
Hmm.
power creep of like this unit will counter this unit. This unit will counter this unit, and then what? And honestly, I'm still not sold about Ervalin. Like, I just don't feel like he does well at all.
I think Ervalin kind of sucks unless you don't have
Yeah.
Rylet. If you don't have Rylet, I could understand needing like a big like single target nuker, but at that
Mm.
point, just save pity for Emaluluka.
Like, that's the thing. Someone ran Ervalin against me, and he had to bring Oxlots and full DPS Ervalin, like super slow.
Yeah,
He had to S3 and S2 to kill my rule. At that point, like two of his units were like,
dead.
I just
Yeah,
finished off his team. I'm like, okay, like, what else is your team gonna do? You kill my
yeah.
Ruel, the rest of my team kills you.
Hmm.
Like,
And the fact that his counterattack is in the form of a buff, right?
yeah, my Alencia just strips it. Like,
Yep. Valencia
goodbye.
Bassar. Does he counter if it gets stripped on that turn?
I don't remember. I only found him once. I forgot. I also didn't really care because I was like, if he got stripped, sorry, if he counters, whatever,
Yeah, it's not
kind of
gonna
thing.
do enough damage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I didn't pull Ervalin, and I don't plan on pulling Ervalin because I personally just don't like his character. But
I mean, that's okay. Like, I pulled him just in case they
yeah,
decide to like buff him
that's okay.
or something.
We can talk about this later too. That's my biggest fear of not pulling a unit, right?
Yeah, we'll talk
Is
about.
because oh boy,
Yeah, that's
I
also with limiteds.
yeah, I actually so I also want to talk about like on the topic of nerfs. I think and nerfs and buffs. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I think you could actually give Arbiter Vildred a buff and nerf Alexis Basket because I think Arbiter
Fair.
Vildred as an initial unit is actually extremely weak right now.
Fair. I actually can't say I disagree with that because one of the things with Arbiter Vildred is
He's reliant on the 40% chance to proc greater attack buff, and if you do not proc Alexis
yeah.
Basket, he is a completely useless unit.
I actually hate the fact that like if I face an Arbiter Village, unless I draft like perfectly, like super like bulked up, if they proc Alexa's basket, I'm gonna take a whopping of damage. And there's like
Yeah.
RTA matches where he ends up procking it both times, where he goes
Yeah, if
first
he
and when
double
he revives.
gets, it's
Like
over.
literally, like my even if I'm tanky, my HP can
Yeah.
gone. And I feel like it's fair. So like that makes him stand alone as a unit a little bit better. Um, he's less reliant on Alexa's basket, and that makes it so it's like Alexa's basket isn't nearly as strong in that aspect of making him like absolutely like demolish someone kind of thing.
And I also think like people don't understand that greater attack buff is like how strong it is. Because you
Yeah.
see it, and someone just mentioned, but you nerfed T Stern as well. But like T Stern greater attack up really hurts. Like when she procs Alexis too, it really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how you would change Alexis basket, and then I don't know how you would change RB, but because I feel like then people would just run like an artifact like Elia's knife, and the damage would probably even out somehow.
Yeah.
But it's hard, right? Like
Yeah. I
the
feel like for T Serum works fine without Alexa's.
I actually
I
like
feel like
Elia's knife better on her. I think.
yeah, I also run Elias on mine actually.
If I had Alex, or if I had T Stern, I run Elia's, but
Oh wait, you don't have T Serum?
she's the one unit I'm missing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. You
I
do
run
need
Elias
setup
on
for
mine.
Elias, right? So it's like
Yeah,
it feels like there's more skill involved, and by skill I mean like you just have to like deal
speed
damage,
tune.
right? Yeah, speed tuning. Whereas like
Yeah,
basket, you proc greater twice, and like
it's literally RNG, which
yeah,
like okay, like I mean, there's a lot of things in this game that is like based RNG, unfortunately, but like I feel like yeah, Alexa, I'd be down for a nerf with Alexas, and then afterwards actually having them buff Arbiter Village a little bit.
I think though the community would just have an out like
Some people would.
and the,
Yeah.
this is gonna sound kind of bad, but like a lot of the people who like don't are that aren't like legend RTA, aren't high champ RTA pushing into legend,
Yeah.
kind of just go with what everyone else says, even if it's not like, oh, Gabe's camera froze again.
Oh, did it?
Oh, there we go. It's back.
Wow, way to freeze at that moment.
Yeah. Like people kind of just are like on this whole like RB's too OP. RB is super OP when like in lower ranks, sure. Like Arbiter Village is gonna seem like a menace, right?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like if you're in the lower rank though, like man, it's gonna sound weird. Like I feel like the lower ranks shouldn't have as
Of
much of a say.
well, especially in a game where like the end game content for Epic 7 right now is RTA. There is no other content for us to do as end game players outside of either farming or doing RTA. Like PvE content is just farming Wyvern, farming A13, farming
Like
Banshee.
yeah, I feel like for a lot of the lower rank people, like they'll say RB is OP and everything, or but like I I don't know. I feel like eventually as they move up though, as they start progressing, um, their thoughts will change.
Hopefully.
So I feel like I'm sure for a lot of people it would. Um, I feel like it should be balanced. And actually, in any game, like I feel like it should always be balanced at the upper level, not at the bottom level. So that's the thing, right? Like, uh, otherwise, it feels kind of like balancing at the bottom level is kind of weird.
Or
I
to
feel like
keep
it's
like the
kind of
bottom
strange.
level happy, I think is
Yeah.
weird. Because at a certain point you have to look at like the people who are complaining about getting soloed by Angelica in Arena because they don't do enough damage. Like, does that mean you have to nerf Angelica?
Yeah.
Or like
Exactly.
is that just because like you're not at that point to be doing PvP yet? And a lot of players, they see PvP, they want to do PvP, they like or they jump into PvP way too early without the understanding of like I have to do PvE first. I have to farm the gear first. And then their mindset is like, I am getting hard stuck like masters in arena. The game is too hard. I'm gonna complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they look at that. They look at that and like, oh well, maybe we should like listen to these people. Well, like the people like doing like high level guild wars, high level RTA, like they're like, hey, this is actually the problem. Like, please listen to us. Like, uh, these units are a problem, not the like idle Sheer Angelica that you just got soloed by.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of yeah. It's unfortunate, but um, part of Reddit slash I mean, well, part of the community. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
Reddit. It's just part of the E7 community itself. Just maybe doesn't see it that way. There's only like a small portion of people where it's like, um, are like, oh, this is what we think is the bigger issue there, and then people are like, no, and then by the time it trickles down, it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
no, it is an issue now, right? So like, I don't know. It's a hard mentality to change though.
Yeah, I really agree with what Sep or Ray said, and I've talked about this before too. But back like when season 2 GVG started, I remember when you came around and like asked for our input so you could like relay it
Oh,
back for like what we
yeah.
thought about Guild War changes and how we thought about Guild Wars, and I felt like we every top guild that you like asked gave you the same exact information of like we don't like this specific change, it's not healthy for the game, and then they just
Mm-hmm.
didn't listen to it. They completely
Yeah.
ignored everything that we said.
I, I mean, to be fair, like I'm not gonna even blame I can't blame the CMs for this because, so it's like like
Yeah.
wherever it is, right? They told the people whatever, and then those people told the CMs to do to ask me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would help them with that, and then um I guess after they pass the information up, they're just like, oh, not relevant,
Yeah.
and it's just like okay. And it's just like okay, well, I mean that was kind of pointless then, but it
It just felt like a slap in the face to us too, like
yeah.
as the people who are like giving money to the game and like playing this game pretty religiously like every day and like devoting all of our time to like improving
Hmm.
in Guild Wars. This was like before RTA was big.
Yeah.
Like it was really kind of just a slap on the face, and I think that's kind of when
Yeah.
like myself and when a lot of these big name in-game players kind of realize like they don't care what we think about, so like our opinions don't matter, so it doesn't super matter at this point. We just kind of have to go with the flow, which kind of sucks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we like with that because of that, we saw a lot of players leave the
Mm-hmm.
game actually. But
It kind of sucks. Like I know there's some players like right now I would say with the
Mhm.
release of Genshin, like uh I think that just added to it, but like a lot
yeah.
of players are that I've that we've been playing the game with since the game started, right? Like you're starting to finally see like this dropout of players, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's true. That's true.
yeah, and I agree. I
Well.
agree with Ray. The game is great. I love the game, and there's a lot of improvements to be had, but it's just kind of sad.
Hmm.
But now, on to a different topic. We kind of got sidetracked there.
True.
And this is more so not even about E7,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
you being a streamer and a content creator. So, if you guys didn't know, I used to watch Gabe when he had like 10 viewers, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like 10 to
Yeah. About.
15. Like, you
Yeah.
hovered
It
around
was
that.
about there. Yeah.
Very
I think
fresh new streamer.
might have been even a little bit lower, but like yeah, like probably one of the earliest people
When this
on my
was his
stream.
only emote, the Sky King trap.
Yep.
That was his only emote. Uh, and to see how much he's grown into being like one of the biggest content creators is like awesome, right? So like what is your favorite thing about being this content creator, about being a streamer? Because I know like you had a job and then you moved to streaming full time, and
Hmm.
that's probably been kind of a jump for you as well. So how has that been the past year now that you've been streaming full time, or however long it's been?
Mm,
Has it been more than a year?
no, it's been about a year now. Yeah, it's been about a year, to be honest. I think it's to be fair, like it it's fun. I guess my favorite thing is honestly just interacting with the community. Like it's kind of interesting. Like I've built up a community where like and all these people, like even like just I'll be honest, like straight up like pretty much like this E7 community itself, it's like you can interact with so many people and like let's say I move to play a game like Genshin, right? And these same people will play with me there. I can interact with them. They're also like, oh hey, we're all playing the same game still. So it's more like a community where like we're all part of the same group. We're all doing the same stuff. We all talk about the same stuff. We have the same interests. I think that's actually a really big thing for me because like obviously I have friends RL here and there, but obviously like 90% of them probably don't game that much. Some of them do, but they're not like hardcore. They don't,
Mm-hmm.
they'll play a little bit here. Like, I'll spend 30 minutes in Genshin here a day, right? And it's just like 30 minutes, that's all. It's like, but then I look towards my streaming community, right? My viewers. It's like, hey, you want to farm for like 4 or 5 hours? Like, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And people are down to like farm, people are down to like theory craft, talk about stuff, like chill. And
Like,
I think that's a really big part about it. It's different and it's nice. Um, Honestly, I think that's probably the most favorite thing because like I'll say this specific for streaming. Yeah, content creator. I kind of usually like feel like that's more like for like YouTube and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I can't say I like YouTube too much because like I'm not very good at editing videos. I'm not very. What was that? What's the word? I'm not very.
Tech savvy.
No, not even tech savvy. It's I don't know how to think of ideas. I don't even know the word.
Oh, so it's just like, uh, I
I
don't
don't know
know.
the
I
word.
don't know the word either, but I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Like, it's hard for you to come up with ideas for like new videos and stuff.
Creative. Yeah.
Creative,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
very creative. Yeah,
yeah. We're
like
pretty papega.
we're pretty Papega, yeah. But this is why we're friends.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not very creative with YouTube ideas, and like obviously I could do the typical like, oh look, it's this and this. But I don't know. I try to do a little bit just to get like do the YouTube stuff, but like sometimes I feel like I don't know what to put out. I like streaming a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, because just
The live interaction is
normal.
nice. Like,
Yeah, I
um,
feel like it's a lot different.
yeah. Like my favorite thing about streaming is just like you said. Honestly, the community, the small communities that you build, like, it's crazy. Cause like when you're hanging out in like a voice call, right, and like
Hmm.
you're talking with people, that are halfway across the world. I think that's super cool. And you all got brought together from like this game Epic 7. And then you're sitting and you're playing Genshin, or you're playing Teamfight Tactics. Like the other day I was playing TFT with my friend Timos, and like he was watching, and I think Sedge was there, and like Timos is all the way in Europe, and I think Sedge is in, I don't know where Sedge is from. I don't remember.
I think such as like
I want to
I don't
say
want to say Brazil, but
Colombia.
Colombia.
Colombia. Okay. Yeah, I just think that's really cool, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, you're in Canada, I'm in the U.S., and for the darn COVID, I probably would have been up to visit, but like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true.
it's crazy to think, like the people that you meet. That's
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite thing, is just being able to interact with people, and then like to be able to call them like friends and stuff is really nice.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, that's kind of true. It's nice. It's nice. Like being a streamer slash content creator is kind of like fun in its own right. Um, it's definitely a different like and it's change of pace um, from working and whatnot.
Hmm.
So that's definitely for sure.
All right, now talking about streaming, yes, this is the last like written question that I have, and then we can talk about other stuff later. But if you were to pick, if you could bring one up, what is your favorite memory from streaming?
Favorite memory from streaming? Hmm. Maybe it was probably the night when I put on the the bowl on my head.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you were there for that one actually, but it was like one random night where like a viewer got me to put on a walk hat, yeah, And as dumb as that was, it was actually really fun. It was really funny. It was a very dumb night, but yeah, it it was weird.
It was the day we learned Gabe has a pride.
Honestly, I'll be honest. Like, even if there was no donation, I feel like I would still do some dumb shit sometimes.
I I gotta say my favorite was when you were top of the E7 uh, directory breakdancing. I remember when that 100K like breakdance redemption was like the single most important thing in your channel for the longest time. Like people were
True.
gambling all the time, just like we need to hit this mark, and then we did it. It was actually great.
True. Yeah. That was I I don't want to say that was probably the most tiring day of my life because I'm out of shape.
That was so fun though. Like
But
that was so funny too. I remember just like scrolling through top of the E7. It's not even E7. It's just you breakdancing.
yeah, it was yeah because I was like, I'm still streaming E7, but I'm gonna break dance while I play E7. So
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, but that was a long, long time ago. Like
that was
that was
early, right?
long.
That was
Yeah,
what, a year and a half ago, probably.
probably yeah. Because like that was when I like I think on that breakdance stream I had most about like maybe like 80 to 100
Yeah, you're
viewers.
like 80 or 100.
And then like back then that was considered like, oh, that was a decent amount in the
Mm-hmm.
E7 community. But like nowadays, like it's grown to a point where like, that's actually not a big enough number
Mm-hmm.
compared to other people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the
but
E7
that was like
community has grown
early.
quite a bit.
Yeah, E7 community has grown huge, and I mean, which is really good. I'm
Yeah,
happy for that. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of things actually. Those are probably the two most memorable moments. Um, I would say, yeah.
I think another one. I sent you a clip of this because I forgot about it and then I remembered it. But I actually had a lot of fun when you, me, like Panchu, Jatai.
Project Winter.
No. Like I think who all was in there? Was Minty in there? I think Minty. We did our 5-star ticket redemptions when during
Oh,
refunds.
whoa. That was a long time. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah,
I
that was
remember that because I the week previous before that, I remember I had bought out covenants, like
hmm
the packs, like
yeah.
all of them, just to try to get Green Vildred, because I wanted to be able to cleave an arena, and I didn't get him because I was just
Oh
ripping
right.
I was ripping regular covs, and then
hmm
I got him from that 5-star ticket. I was like, Smilegate,
That was actually pretty fun.
if you don't give me this Green Vildred, I'm quitting the game. And then they gave me Green Vildred, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not quitting.
Yeah, that was actually wow. I actually forgot about that. That was actually like
I think Esco was there too. Like
I think I don't remember if Esco is.
Lil J might have been. Lil
I
J
know
might have done
Mason
his
was
tickets.
there. Sorry, Camipo, which
Yeah,
is a
yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah, 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 yeah. That
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of there's quite a few people in that call that time. It was fun. It was
Moon
scuffed and fun.
Curse, Moon, or
Yeah, he was there.
I think Amy was in the call. Maybe,
Mm,
maybe.
I don't know about Amy. I don't remember it. I don't remember who Amy is anymore.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Amy in a while.
I talked to her the other day. Actually, actually, okay, sorry, totally different. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. um,
um,
all right. I guess that's like pretty much it for the last question. I guess if chat has any questions, then we can go back if you have anything else that you wanted to talk about. Um, I forget. We said that we were going to talk about something, and then I forgot. What are my thoughts on Carbuncle?
God dang it, it's the Carbuncle lover again. Nerf Carbuncle.
Oh, I see. Oh, we were going to talk about ML Crow. What about ML Crow again? I forgot.
Emerald Crow, how to nerf it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what we can say about Emerald Crow anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of went over that.
I have a question. What is your favorite unit, and why is it ML Lulica?
Okay.
I do like ML Lulica. Will you let me smell your hair? Yeah, Skylar, you just gotta, come visit.
What the heck?
Do I hang out on my
Uh,
Discord a lot? Yeah. So if you exclamation point Discord, you can go ahead and join. Um, I usually I'm playing like TFT or something in that Discord. Um, Gabe, when are we playing TFT again?
Too much Genshin. Can't
Ah,
play this. Can't play
true.
TFT. Well, who if
Oh,
any is someone you wish to pull for when it was out?
so I have every unit minus T Surin and minus Ervalin. So there's no unit that I guess pulling on ML Ken Mystic rotation for T Surin, but I don't think I would have risked that because ML Ken Japes
Hmm.
feel bad. Um,
Huh.
I don't know. What about you, Gabe?
I mean, I kind of regret not pulling for Emil Tywin back when he was there. I have
Oh,
him now, but it's a little bit too late now, I suppose.
oh,
That
did
would
you
have really
just
helped.
recently get him?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just recently got him.
what changes would you make to Guild Wars to make it less stale? There's a long list of changes that I would make.
There's a lot. I probably think the first thing would probably be rewards.
Yes,
Tiered
legitimate
rewards.
rewards to make it feel like more rewarding.
Not
Because
even legitimate. Like the very small change they could do that would probably be the least effort is have a tiers. So there's a differentiation between top 3, top 10, top 20, top 50, top 100, top 200, like down 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 all the way down to the part where like very
mhm,
bottom, right? So there's a difference in mystics in that instead of just like the times 5 right now
yeah,
for like the top 1000 guilds.
and I think
I don't even know.
and I think though that more mystics maybe isn't the way, but like what I would personally really enjoy is frames. And I know that sounds like
Per person?
cliche. Yes. And I would love and I've thought about this idea and every time I think about it it gets me so excited because I'm like this would be so sick if they could do it.
So here's the one thing about that.
Wait, no. Hear me out first.
Okay.
So, the the frames are for first, second, and third, bronze, silver, gold. Kind of like the original arena, like season or 2 frames that you have, like
Okay.
your gold one. Like the
Okay.
gold one would be for first, silver for second, bronze for third, and on the
Okay.
bottom they have the guild name.
Okay.
So you get your own like Daohana frame, right? Or your own Veritas frame, or your own Life frame, or your own Deviance frame. Instead of having a Hall of Fame that resets every single time and you don't even get to see the previous Hall of Fames for
Mm-hmm.
GVG, like you get a frame to give to every person to make it feel more worthwhile. Because now all these guilds are disbanding. Like all these guilds are falling apart. Like members are quitting the game. Like, and there's no remembrance, right? Like, who even remembers Big Band anymore? Like,
Who?
yeah, big what? Like
Big what?
because the Hall of Fame is gone, right? We can't even see that
Yeah.
they were a guild anymore.
Yeah. I think one of the, okay, so here's a big thing. I love the frame idea. I think we talked about this before, but I think the biggest issue with that is there's a few things is A, if someone leaves midway or something, or if let's say they get kicked or something, they got replaced or something, that's gonna feel bad. Um, at the same, like, I think there's a lot of things that can go into that. Not to mention, Summon Bros, right? Like, I'd be a little scared about guilds being built to sell spots, possibly.
I feel like though,
Um,
like the guild culture is pretty unified in a sense of like,
Generally it is, but there's always those black sheeps. Sorry,
yeah,
there's certain ones where like things will happen, right? And like, I, I don't know, like I like the idea, but like I feel like there's a lot of
there's
things that
definitely
could
a lot of
happen.
gray area.
Like, how do you determine, um, how do you determine who gets the frames,
I think it would just be
right?
the people who like stuck out the season and are at the end.
Like
I would
maybe
personally do it like the last 30 people who were in that guild at the time of guild
see
close.
that's the main thing I'm afraid of. Like those last two spots, especially, right? If people just have two alts in there, they could easily, bring two random people in. or that that want frame or something or whatnot. I don't know.
But I think
Generally, like in the community wise,
I
like
guess.
yeah, like
I would hope that people aren't that like shady, but
I'm sure there are some people who wouldn't do it, but at the same time, I'm also sure there are people that would be taken over by greed,
yeah, I
which is
I can see that.
yeah, and it's unfortunate, but to think that way, but it's like kind of it's more like a. I think that's what. If anything, the way like I like the idea. So I think the way I do it is there's the tally for how many attacks you've done and wins and stuff like that, right? The people with so only the people who have gone over a certain number of attacks in the guild will get the frame
Yeah,
if they're still in the guild.
that would be good. Or
Yeah.
like
So
guild
like
participation because they do keep track of that, right? They keep track
yeah.
of your records.
So
So
only people with like 80% of attacks in the guild will be eligible for the frame, kind of thing, right? So that puts the emphasis on staying in the guild, keeping someone in the guild if they want, and also making that person work harder to stay in the guild to be up to that level, kind
yeah,
of thing. But it's a cool idea. It's just, I mean,
I don't know
it
how
was
they would
something we
like.
suggested to them.
It feels like the implementation just wouldn't be there. I don't think
Mhm.
Smilegate would take the time to do that, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be hard. It'd be difficult, which is why I said like the easiest thing is to have the tiers first, where like there's a differentiation where top 3 guilds will get more mystics than anyone else,
Well, do you
right?
remember? Well, I think that's also a problem though too, with like the fact that there's Mystic Pity, and the fact that like, given how they plan on like releasing like units to interact with the meta, and to
Mm-hmm.
be like stronger into certain units,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think then you'd get a lot of like newer players complaining then, right? Of like, I can't be in the Lifes, the Veritas, the Deviants, right? I can't be in the Fleets, the Trap Houses, or I guess Mori, sorry. Like, I can't be in these powerhouse guilds, and my Mystics are not, like, I'm
I
not
feel
getting as
like
many Mystics, and these players who are already, like, quote unquote mega whales are just getting more.
yeah.
So they have an easier and better chance at getting, like, these premium ML5s that they put behind the Mystic paywall.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair.
Because like Mystic packs, without a doubt, are the biggest like money making packs.
Maybe it's a bad way to go about it, but maybe I feel like maybe it's bad mentality, but I'm like I feel like they should just ignore that.
Uh,
Like
I, so I do
I
too,
don't
because
know.
I wish kind of like RTA was like this too. I hot take. I don't think master players should get the RTA skin.
True, I agree.
Hot take.
Like
I think the RTA skin should be like legitimately for champion and legend only, not even challenger, because of like you look at how
mm,
Summoner's War does it, and I think Summoner's War, like,
yeah,
while people complain about Summoner's War, right? While people complain about Summoner's War, they have maintained I don't want to say healthy, right? But they have maintained an RTA environment that is successful still.
I think the thing for me is more of like not that the skin is only for champion, is that the skin has different. Oh man, I always go back to tiers, but I think either the skin has different effects or something, which obviously this would put a lot more work for them. But I feel like the skin could start out at masters, but the skin wouldn't either. It'd be less. There'd be some way to differentiate the different tier of skin,
Mm-hmm.
so that people at each higher ranking would have a unique kind of skin with either a unique effect or something. So let's say, recent example, Spectre Tenebria, right? The new skin that came out.
Yeah.
Um, so they added a little something extra. So, at let's say Master and Challenger, the skin will be what we currently have. And then at Champion and Legend, the skin, maybe her explosion, her ball, her energy blast, it'll look different, different color. It'll be a little bit more flashy. She'll maybe have an aura during
I think the
when
auras, like, do you remember Summoners War, like the
yeah.
Gladiator auras? I would
Yeah.
love that. If they added that, or like,
Yeah.
what if they
I think
made
that'd be
like an
really cool.
RTA currency, right? Granted, it's harder to do since there's unlimited uh what's it called, entries into RTA.
Hmm.
But like it feels to me like maybe I'm just complaining. Maybe this is just the boomer like
No, I don't
late
think
game
so.
whale complaints, but like I feel extremely unrewarded only really getting this frame by pushing for legend.
Well, there's another thing here is, well, I guess
I'd rather have the conquest points than the Politica skin that you get for being gold.
I can't disagree with that. I actually like, if it wasn't for the frame looking decent
Yeah.
and me wanting the skin, kind of, I actually would really want the conquest points.
I'm actually shocked that you don't get the conquest points as well as the skin slash frame.
If anything, I felt like maybe they should have given like maybe not as much conquest points, because obviously the people at the bottom aren't getting the skin,
Mm-hmm.
but at least give a little bit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because to me,
and
the
like,
skin is not as valuable. Like, I
mhm,
didn't reach legend last season in RTA.
yeah,
At that point, I don't care about the Stenny skin. Just give me the 2K conquest points.
hmm.
I would have dropped to gold if I knew that I wasn't
I
going
think
to
the
get
thing
legend.
here is the skin isn't. Well, this is gonna be feel bad, but don't pitchforks. But I feel like the skin ain't cool enough.
It's not. It's the
Like,
same with like almost every E7 skin, which is why like I didn't get the Charles one, I
yeah,
didn't get the Una one. Is
same.
like they it's the same exact like animations just with a different base skin, right?
Yeah,
I want a different animation. I know that's a lot to ask, right? But
yeah, no,
like
but it's fair. It's how Summoners War does it, right? The animation, right? It's the animations and everything that I feel like make it so cool for different skins.
yeah, like let's take the Tamarin skin actually. I think this is a great example of this.
Oh God,
It's the laziest skin design I've ever seen.
yeah,
And I still have it, unfortunately. I don't know why.
I
But
didn't even get it.
I got it
Like,
because I like Tamarin, but like
it's kind of like a recolor, right? Like, for
yeah,
example, let's say
exactly. That's
like it's the animations. Like, let's say like when she transforms or something, right? The animation changes a lot drastically. It's a different animation, or like I don't know, like the background changes more. You know, it's kind of like it's also when they attack the effects. I feel like they need to change that
yeah.
more.
I
Like,
think
let's say for
the
Spectre
fact
Tenebria,
yeah.
like when she uses skill 3, her beams or well her energy blast, different color, like a bigger change in color so people can see.
I
Yeah,
think though, like while it may be easier to make, like what are they doing with all the money that we give them?
true.
Right? Like what are they doing with that money?
Investing into
Investing into their 10-year
methods.
plan?
Whoa. Yes, investing into story.
Yeah, like
Investing into all those new packs that are being created.
yeah, like I think I think like I don't think it's about like them not wanting to do that. I think they definitely have
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
funds and they definitely like probably have the time given like oh yeah, speaking of packs, we could talk about this actually.
Oh
The
God.
new equipment packs.
Feels bad for everyone who bought equipment packs in the past,
They're actually so nuts.
but I'm still not gonna buy them.
No, I haven't spent on this game in like over 2 months now. Like
Yeah, I can't spend. Yeah. Well, also because of the fact that I'm spending in Genshin, but
I think so I don't really want to talk about this here. We can talk about it when I'm not recording the video, but the Tenha
yeah.
situation is completely different than I think, or it's a different topic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh since Genshin released no more spending. No, since like I don't have a job. That's the big thing. But
Rip Platty.
rip
No
Platy.
job.
My job is to stream to you guys, and then I don't even do that because I'm usually sleeping during the day.
Pog you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Try sad.
I
Uh,
mean,
but yeah, the new packs are. I'm feeling like the game is just.
they're good for people to catch up. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
They're good for people to catch up, which I'm not surprised. You know,
The problem is they'll never catch up because the whales will always buy them and always be that much more ahead.
Yep.
There's
I agree.
nothing. They're not catching up if the whales are also getting it right.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the worst
I
part.
bought
Like,
this pack. I'm gonna be able to catch up like one more reforge, and there's like, nah, fam, I already bought all of them. Like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean, and you're
I
seeing
think.
that they're getting rid of the packs that no one buys. Like, goodbye
Yeah.
Stigma pack, goodbye Gold pack. Like,
Yeah. They're gonna end that. Wait a minute. Gold pack.
yeah,
Didn't
you
you
didn't see
always
that.
buy the gold packs?
Listen here, buddy. Okay. Listen here, buddy.
You were the. How could they get rid of the gold packs when we have the one person
Oh,
who was the biggest spender of the gold pack? I mean, what?
yeah,
Dude,
it was the solo fun of the gold packs.
to be fair, I think the gold pack was out for so long because of you, actually.
Honestly,
Probably would
yeah.
have been gone. I mean, sorry, what?
I could have
Sorry.
saved them. I was the chosen one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got ooh, that feels bad. But yeah, I don't know. I
Well,
feel like with the new packs, it feels a lot more like cash grabby to me. And I
yeah.
think and it feels even more so that way because of how they promote it. I am very annoyed that when I go back to my lobby, I'm like constantly reminded like
Yeah, it's
here's
like,
these
oh, hey,
special
look,
promotions.
there's these special. Okay, it's not as bad as the other games. Other games keep popping up no matter what. This one's like, like once a week or certain times. I'm like, fine, I'll take it. At least it's not like, other games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't know. I feel that way with the Mola pack too, though. I think
Yeah.
hot take. I think the Mola pack is a mistake. The new
I
one,
don't
the
think
new
that's
one, the new
I
one.
don't even think that's a hot take, to be honest. I feel like that's the consensus for a lot of people.
Like
Yeah.
the
I
problem
feel
is
like.
too. Like I think careless was talking about this too. The intention
Mhm.
should not be for like every unit to be plus 15.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I think the biggest thing about this is that I'm putting this perspective. Previously, people were like, okay, it's not too bad. I minimum, for some of the like dolphins, minimum a month, I have to spend $50,
yeah,
and I'll have, that's the thing. I'll have the most valuable resource. I have some sky zones to farm with. I just gotta make use of my resources. Okay, not too bad. Now it's like, minimum a month, I'll have to spend 200 now.
yeah. I mean, it went up to
Otherwise,
100, and that still felt bad.
yeah. Now they doubled it. It's like, oh, here's a method to fix the mola pack.
Yeah,
What? It's like, it was a really bad way to go about it, in my opinion.
yeah.
I have to say, I didn't really like it. And at the same time, though, it was also like,
Did you want to go with me?
it's like, it's a whale problem. At the same time, though, it's like, even for those whales, I don't think it feels good. It feels really cash grabby, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's extremely cash grabby, and I think another problem is like they can't really roll a refund right because the newer players haven't been playing as long to accumulate the amount to refund back.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for us, we've been playing since the game started, or you have at least. I've been playing since like Christmas of 2018, but
Yeah.
our refunds are going to be a lot bigger than someone who just started playing like 6 months ago.
True. That is also very true.
So it's
Um,
like it doesn't help the new players that need the molas. So they're like funneled into this like, well, to catch up, I have to spend this $200 every month.
mm-hmm. Yeah. That's another aspect of it. Yeah. I feel like that's a totally different topic that like it's a way totally different topic to go into, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's another one. We can talk about this a different time. Maybe like I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Unless anybody else had big like legitimate questions. But
Nah, none of the questions are ever legitimate, so it's okay.
Ugh. Oh, Gabe toxic.
What?
Gabe
I,
toxic.
I didn't mean that. I swear to God, I didn't mean that.
All right. Anyways, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for the interview. Gabe, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to show us my gold packs. They're all there. Like I haven't got them.
Yeah, that's why the gold packs are going away because
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
hasn't bought them.
How many pentroll speed has Gabe had on his account? I'm pretty sure 0. Yeah.
0. I've never gotten a penta speed roll.
I did watch you kill a 5 speed.
Shut up.
I still remember it as if it was yesterday.
Oh, it's happened more than once now.
Don't you normally interview famous people? What do you mean? Gabe is famous.
No, exactly. Wait, is this still on the YouTube?
Not yeah, technically, but here, I'll cut it here. So thank you guys again. So I'll cut it here so Gabe can talk some smack. But thank you guys as always. I appreciate it. Put Gabe's links down in the description. So go sub to him. Go follow him on Twitch. Give him that Twitch Prime sub. All that fun stuff. Grab his emotes. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.